Garrett Blevins here with days 1 and 2 of week 3. I have a little bit of the kind of quote-unquote assistance day. That's that day 2, so I'll talk about that when we get there. Pretty much deadlifts today were extremely difficult. I felt like these were moving really slow from what I usually have the bar speed at. This set here isn't terrible, but I did have 3 sets of doubles, and a lot of these are just grinders. That continued into the block pull as well. I was having difficulty getting my hips in a good position. They felt pretty beat up. Some of that might be due to the depth of squats that I was getting to in my last workout. Some of it might be that I haven't really foam rolled in a while. My hands were getting tore up by the bar as well, so I threw on these straps. I think you'll see on this rep, see how far the bar went forward? Really misgrooved it and had to grind back. Most of that was lower back exercise. Not my best work. These, I kept the bar a little closer on the block pulls. I was still using the straps, but these felt a little bit better. Ended up doing sets of 3, 3 sets of 3 for an RTS intensity protocol. This is an intensity week, and so I'm going to be looking for times when I can work within the 4 rep range to singles. I did some singles on my assistance day, which were nice and went pretty well. But I took some more rests. This was a long workout. I think it ended up taking about an hour and 45 minutes to finish up everything, even though the volume of barbell movement was low. But I took some time in between these block pulls to make sure that I was doing well. I would say that the effort involved in this workout is the highest that I've had in the last training cycle and a half, as far as just moving really heavy weight that's moving really slow. And I feel that, as this is week 3 before competition, from a macro view of training, it's a really good idea. I'm going to try to discuss a little bit of micro and macro training principles, and maybe get a whiteboard out and do a little bit of drawing on that to show you what I'm talking about with macro cycles. But since this is my last 8-week cycle before competition, there should be more heavy weights at low reps in this than other days. I finished off with some floor press. I decided to start with 405 as the first working set, and then from there I moved up and then moved back down. Usually I don't do drop sets, but I used to always up the weight until I got tired and then drop back down. That was when I was training kind of on my own back in high school and early in college. Since then, I've gotten away with it and really just done one static weight for most of the working sets. But decided to really push it a little bit more today, again, because it's my last training cycle before competition. And so starting to get used to heavier weights and having that stimulus is good. But as you'll see, that last set there were grinders. I can't remember how this last rep goes. It was the last rep of the day. Even that was pretty much a grinder. I don't know if I had one more. So this is footage from day 2. This is the next day. And decided to work up to a heavy single. I'm cheating as much as possible. I've got my SBD neoprene knee sleeves on. My heels are raised up off the floor. But ended up going to a PR of 470. And it was pretty easy. I feel like that's good. I just got through the sticking point. And so all in all, pretty happy about that. It was an exciting lift. After that, I decided to throw in some volume. I actually really like this style of almost a bodybuilding rep set where I'm doing some real shoulder and chest focused movements here. And it really, doing this set helped me keep tight and learn some of that stimulus. So I really enjoyed that. I'll probably throw some more of those half rep sets in there. One of the things that I've been thinking about lately, I had a question in the comments actually. It was in a question about denominations and churches, and sometimes people will go to a church and there's going to be people there that are just jerks. Sometimes people have differences over theology, but I think in my own experience that it's really the people that make or break a church. And you may have differences of opinion on some teachings or doctrines or perspectives on things, but there are big issues and there are small issues, just like in everything. There are things that really matter and can make or break whether or not you can really participate as part of the community because of shared core beliefs. And there are other more fringe issues. However, a lot of people make every issue a core issue. There are no fringe issues, and these people, when you deal with them, are just super divisive. They want to split up into groups. They want to either you're on their side or you're against them, and you may have, you know, tremendous overlap in your beliefs, but it really doesn't matter, at least to them. And what I think, and what is most important to me, as important as proper doctrine is, and staying close to the scriptures and trying to be faithful both to the biblical texts and Christian tradition, it's far more important if you say you're a Christian to actually be a follower of Christ. And to be a follower of Christ means that you're characterized by love. Now, what I mean by that is kind of what this verse says here from 2 Corinthians, that our life is controlled by a principle. And the principle that controls us is the love that Christ had. The love that Christ had is not a self-focused love. It's not a love that you get something out of, that you put in effort so that you can receive. That doesn't mean that it shouldn't have a return. If you're really acting in selfless love, that does call for appreciation and for reciprocation on those that receive it. However, at the same time, it's not a love that's focused on one's own self. It's not that you might live to gratify your own desires. And that's where I think about those Christians that are really focused on doctrine and having things their own way. They're very self-focused. They're very opinionated. And it's fine to have opinions. I have my opinions. I'm sure you out there have your own opinions. And it's really great when you can find people that can disagree but still get along with each other, that are still able to talk and are still able to have relationships and aren't offended by people who differ and aren't going to use arguments, especially from some people, if you're not for me, you're against me, you're going to hell, you're not a Christian. And it's just over little things, and it's pretty petty when it comes down to it. And so whenever I'm looking for a place in the church that I'm at currently, I didn't pick it because I found out that, they believe exactly all the things that I believe. Beliefs change over time. As we grow, we change what we believe. And that's okay. But we have to acknowledge that we don't know everything. In my opinion, there's whole lots of things that I'm wrong about, but I'm sure there's at least one thing I'm wrong about. And see, the thing about that one thing that I'm wrong about is that I don't know what it is. And so when I meet someone that disagrees with me, the first thing I should be doing is listening to see, are they right and am I wrong? And to give someone the space to actually talk about that. So kind of to summarize, when you're looking for a church or if you've had bad experiences with Christians before, I would just, ask, were they living by this principle, which is the principle of what I might call a true Christian, or at least a practicing Christian. Because a Christian is a follower of Christ. And how can we say we're a follower of Christ if in fact we are not following Christ? Following his example in his self-giving death, following his example in his obedient life. So that's what I've been thinking about. I hope that is informative for anybody out there. If you guys have any questions or comments about the lifting or the commentary, write them down in the comments, and I'll see if I can get back to them. Hope you all are doing well wherever you're at. Blessings.